So as you know, in the D-50 there were only 64 patches. To create those 64, we chose them from over 120. The D-50 didn't sound like anything we'd done before. What a difference it made to the music industry at the time. The most exciting patch that we found, Fantasia, which is this one. Which has a beautiful warmth down the bottom, but it's very, very crystal bell tones over the top, and that very gentle loop that's dying away over the top of the thing. So it just became an entity to itself. Very similar. Not as much warmth down the bottom end, but I was really quite proud of that. Of course, everybody knows these. Like I said, that pretty much writes a song all by itself. This one is one of mine. It's called Flutish Brass. And that's pretty much what you were saying before about why would I make something like that? I was taking a flute sound and thinking, am I going to make a flute? But I ended up making something a bit more brass-like. So it just inspired something that wasn't flute, wasn't brass. And the dynamics of the breath were just, fun to play around with. Okay, this is one I called the OK Chorale. So I wanted to get a choir effect. There's another one I worked on as well, but this one is purely synthesized choir. So it's a pad. And different amounts of breath depending on where the joystick is. The engineers in Japan were asking us for any samples we could find. And of course, they were more interested in well-recorded drums and anything they could find that was relatively short. But I had this old bottle of port in my house that was almost empty, and so I just blew across the top of it and thought, that's a great sound. So that's the sample in here. And I called it Bottle Blower to remind me that it's my port bottle. Oh dear. This patch is fascinating for a lot of reasons. And you can play it in many, many ways. It's just bright and nasty and interesting. But it became a topic of huge discussion. And it just keeps evolving. It's a brilliant, brilliant patch. But the exciting part is this. And this was the first digital synth with built-in effects. In the D-50 we have that chorus. The chorus also had 8 or 10 variations. On top of that, we have reverb. With this, you could do it all at home and just walk on stage and have the power of the Roland chorus and reverb all built in. This patch is called Soundtrack. I'm very sure this is one of Eric's. And actually it has a bit of a history behind it, because Eric and I had worked on previous synthesizers, and particularly one called JX10, and he created an effect like that, Soundtrack. Again, back to the concept of the D-50, it was meant to sound and program as much like an analog synthesizer would, but of course it's not, it's purely digital, so it's the software, so I say analog.